Jeffrey Dahmer. A name that sends chills down the spine, but how did he become one of America's most notorious serial killers? Born on May 21, 1960, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Dahmer seemed like any other child at first. But as he grew older, there were signs of trouble. He became fascinated with dead animals, often dissecting roadkill in his backyard. This morbid curiosity was an early indicator of his dark inclinations. This was just the beginning. By his teenage years, Dahmer felt increasingly isolated. He struggled to fit in and often found himself on the fringes of social circles. He struggled with his sexuality and began drinking heavily even in school. His alcohol abuse was a way to numb the pain and confusion he felt inside. His dark fantasies began to take shape. These thoughts were not just fleeting, they were persistent and grew more intense over time. In 1978, at the age of 18, Dahmer committed his first murder. This act was a turning point, marking the transition from fantasy to reality. His victim was Stephen Hicks, a hitchhiker he picked up, took home, and killed. Hicks was just looking for a ride, unaware of the fate that awaited him. Dahmer dismembered Hicks's body, scattering the remains in his backyard. This gruesome act was meticulously planned and executed. This horrifying act marked the start of a gruesome killing spree. Dahmer's methods became more refined and his urges more uncontrollable. Dahmer's murders continued, each more brutal than the last. His victims were often young men, lured by promises of money or companionship. He lured young men to his home, where he would drug, strangle, and often cannibalize them. The horror didn't end with their deaths. It extended to what he did with their bodies. His apartment became a house of horrors, filled with dismembered body parts and gruesome trophies. It was a macabre collection that spoke volumes about his twisted mind. Despite several close calls with the law, Dahmer remained undetected for years. His ability to blend in and appear normal was his greatest asset. He was a master of deception, maintaining a facade of normalcy. Friends and neighbors had no idea of the monster living among them. But in 1991, his luck ran out. The walls of his double life began to close in. On July 22, 1991, Tracy Edwards escaped from Dahmer's clutches and flagged down 2 police officers. This brave act would finally bring Dahmer's reign of terror to an end. What they found in Dahmer's apartment shocked the world. The sheer scale of his atrocities was almost beyond comprehension. A refrigerator filled with human heads, photographs of dismembered bodies, and a drum containing acid used to dissolve remains. It was a scene straight out of a nightmare. Dahmer was arrested and later confessed to the murders of 17 young men. His confessions were chilling, revealing a mind consumed by darkness. His trial revealed the depths of his depravity, leaving the nation in shock. The courtroom was filled with a mix of horror, disbelief, and sorrow. On November 28, 1994, Dahmer was killed by a fellow inmate in prison, bringing his horrifying story to an end. His death was as violent as his life had been. Jeffrey Dahmer's tale is a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk within. It's a story that forces us to confront the evil that can exist in the human soul. It's a story of a man whose monstrous actions will forever haunt our collective memory. The impact of his crimes continues to resonate, a grim chapter in the annals of true crime. If you're fascinated by true crime and the psychology behind it, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. There's always more to uncover and understand. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe. Remember, the world is full of mysteries, some darker than others.